Welcome to the regular briefing session of the Forsyth County Board of Commissioners. Before I turn the meeting over to our Vice Chairman, Don Martin, I would like to suggest to the County Manager that the briefing is full of information that we normally already know. So if you can complete the briefing in 15 minutes, that might be a plus for the board. Now I'll turn the meeting over to Don Martin.
Well, this is our briefing for April 21st regular meeting. So we have a full briefing next week, and it's our new practice is to kind of just hit the highlights. But we do have a couple of hearings, presentations from planning, and I did speak briefly with Kurt, and he'd be happy to delay those, and we could do them next week if that is the pleasure of this board. That suit this board fine?
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good to me.
All righty. So, Mr. County Manager, anything else you'd like to say before we adjourn?
Let me just, I'll just do a quick description of what we're going to be dealing with next Thursday. So we already mentioned the planning items. I did communicate with Courtney Driver, and so she will have someone from the Utilities Commission here next Thursday who can speak to a lot of the issues that were raised in the planning items. Great. So I think that'll be great. The other public hearing matter that is on the agenda is a resolution extending the countywide fire service district, and that one is where, if you remember, Rural Hall was one of the few municipalities who did not originally adopt the overlay district for countywide fire, and so they are they have changed their opinion about that. We are stepping through that process, and so our fire marshal will review that as well. You've got 4 special resolutions. You've got the recognition of Historic Preservation Month, Child Abuse Prevention Month, Public Health Month, and also National County Government Month. That will be on, that we'll take care of next and hear about next Thursday. Budget finance, you've got a number of different items. You've got the Home and Community Care Block Grant funding plan, which always comes about this time, that sort of dovetails with budget. You've got a special appropriations, which there were 2 contracts that were approved in prior years. Because of a number of matters, we've just been trying to get the contract details taken care of, and so those will come in front of you. It's interesting, we've got the opioid settlement grants project ordinance, because all that is starting to take shape, and so the work that the county attorney's done on that has been very fortuitous, and so you'll hear about that. And then we also are going to reconcile some CARES Act funding. As is with all that, there's sometimes some difficulty in getting every dollar spent, and so we're going to reconcile the CARES Act, which, if you remember, was that first slug of state federal money that came through when COVID occurred. And then you're also going to hear about the Health and Human Services. There is a subcommittee that makes recommendations to this board about behavioral health care funding. And there's an application process, and they go through those applications, and so they make those recommendations. And a number of years ago, you basically directed us to do those outside of the budget process, take care of them early, and so we've done that, and that will direct those maintenance of effort dollars. You got a number of contracts for consideration. You do have an item that would actually increase ambulance fees. We have not done that in about 10 years. And so you'll hear about that. We also have, every year we go out and open a period where businesses can apply for non-emergency ambulance franchises. We actually had one of the franchise providers go out of business, so we had been only having one, which is Lifestar. You have some interest and you would be asked to consider adding another ambulance franchise to that. You've got some video recording equipment the sheriff's asking you to purchase. There's also some doors and some door hardware for the detention center doors that the sheriff wants you to consider, and then also some temporary staffing for the sheriff. It's a pretty big agenda next Thursday. So it's we will dive deep into it. Ballot printing, because we've got an election coming up, we need to take care of that. In-home aid services is something that we periodically go out for bid on, and we've done that as well. And then we also have the Callidium project. There is a request for some contingency funding for that as that project has developed. And then also in the project front, you will kick off the efforts to move the 2 hangar project under design build forward at Smith Reynolds Airport. We've got some property matters. You've got the Robin Hood Road that we went through that upset bid process, and that has landed on the final bidder, and so you'll be asked to consider that. We've got some personal property that you would declare surplus that we'd be able to sell. And then there are 4 lease agreements, which are all tower leases, but it's, you're doing business with your first cousin because the Utilities Commission wants to put some equipment on there that moves forward their meter reading, their automatic meter reading system that they've been put in. So a very busy next Thursday, and perhaps a couple of discussion items, but that's what it looks like. So.
And Mr. Manager, we'll also need to vote at second reading on the air quality ordinance because there was not a full board present today.
Very good. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Gordon. That's it, and I know we've had a long day today, and we'll have a full Thursday next Thursday.
Mr. Manager, before we leave, Mr. Vice Chairman, I would like to thank our attorney. He had some tough decisions to make on certain policy decisions that we needed to progress with, and thank you very much. Good job.
All right.
It's good. The only suggestion I would make before we walk out the door is that maybe we don't have any discussion items with that long agenda.
Okay. Well, I want to exceed expectations, so we'll see what we. You won't have them unless we have some. We really need them for some reason. But
Good.
Move to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Wait a minute, I'm not running. You're married, go ahead.
You adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Fleming on the main, second by Vice Chairman Don Martin. All in favor, say aye. Aye. We're adjourned.